So you said you were going to have your first drink in like years or something?
Not years, 60 days.
60 days
Yes.
on our show.
Yes.
So it's been 60 days.
Well, hi,
Quitters never win.
That's right.
I'm very dainty.
That's perfect.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect.
So is that drink.
So anyway.
Welcome to the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show, where hosts Brian Leverage and Jeffrey Holst pour out old-fashioned real estate advice.
Episode 23.
So this is the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show. My name is Jeffrey Holst, and this is Brian Leverage.
And this is Jillian Sidoti.
Hi.
Jillian is our very first ever guest, so thank you for that. See,
Thanks for having me.
I just made it official, by the way. Like now it's stuck. It's official.
No matter how it's edited, this is number one.
That's right. It has to be the first guest, even if we put it out after Matt's episode.
Assuming he shoots it.
Yeah, we don't even know. I mean, Matt might not even show up. So, I mean, it's possible.
You feel better.
Yeah, well, fair enough. But if he is on, you're still going to be first.
All right.
It's a spot decision. I've made it.
It's like making the first comment on a really controversial article, and all you write instead of writing a comment is you just write first.
That's fantastic. I'm going to remember that. So Jillian is an expert at everything that she does. She's the very best.
Trapeze artist.
I didn't know you did that. I did know that you dropped out of law school once.
I
That's
did.
something I never did. So
Yeah.
you want to talk about that?
No, it's very painful.
So Jillian is
Yes, no, I
an
know,
actual
I'm joking.
attorney now. She did drop out, but she went back.
I
So
did go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. No, I dropped out to start a record label.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Well, I'm a lawyer now.
That was kind of a softball, but yeah, I knew it. So anyway, so the
Leading the
record
witness.
label, so you aren't an expert at record labels then. So I was wrong with what I started with.
I'm gonna die of laughter.
That's going to be the second time. So, in fairness, Jillian and I were talking earlier,
Yes.
and I was doing what I do, and she started laughing and said she was going to die. And I said, no. You have to wait until the show to die.
And then I promised to die on the show.
Yes, she did promise. It's good for
I
ratings.
take that back because I do have 3 kids.
Yeah, you should
Oh,
say you
that,
have 3
that would be
kids.
awful. Yeah.
Wow, how old are they?
11, 8, and 4.
Excellent.
Yes,
Excellent.
all
Yeah.
boys.
Cool.
And now you know where I get my sense of humor. It's
From the boys, yeah. So potty
It's a
jokes
coping
and
mechanism.
stuff like that.
Mostly. Yeah.
So you said you were going to have your first drink in years or something?
Not years, 60 days.
60 days
Yes.
on our show. So
Yes.
it's been 60 days.
Well, hi,
Quitters never win.
That's right.
I'm very dainty.
That's perfect.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect.
So is that drink.
So anyway, we appreciate you coming on. And in all kidding aside, Jillian actually is an expert in one
Thank
topic. In fact, I actually saw on your Facebook page the other day that you were actually even teaching other lawyers about your topic, which is pretty cool. So
Well,
what's
I'm a
your
pretty important person, as we've established.
yes? So what is it that you were teaching the other lawyers about?
I taught them about how to do crowdfunding, how to advise their clients on how to do crowdfunding.
Right.
So if a corporate attorney, for example, which we see a lot of, a corporate attorney or a real estate attorney in our circle.
So if I was trying to do crowdfunding as a lawyer,
Exactly.
then
right.
you would tell me how to do it.
Right, because what happens is, a lot of times a real estate attorney or a corporate attorney will get a client that says, hey, I want to start raising money from investors. Do you know how I can do that? And they have no clue because that's not their area of expertise. So I taught what's called a continuing learning education class. Lawyers have to take those credits,
CLE,
as you know.
right?
Yep, a CLE. And so I taught one of those classes to other lawyers so that they could then advise their clients.
And for the ABA too, right? So not some rinky-dink place.
Super big deal.
Yeah.
Super
big deal. It's almost as big as being on the Old-Fashioned Real Estate Show.
No way.
No, it's not quite. Not quite. So
It wasn't nearly this fun.
well, that actually I know. I've been to a lot of CLE. It's never fun. Although
It's
yours,
usually when is this over and when does the little code come up?
yeah.
Because for those of you that are not in the know, a code comes up when you take a CLE that you have to put in, so they make sure you actually take the test. Because believe it or not, lawyers will try to cheat.
No way.
No. So what I do, I like to listen to the audio CLEs for
Yeah.
mine, and then I've gotten really good because they always give you like on the audio ones, they say like, now it's time for your third code or whatever. So
Yeah.
I put the volume down, right?
Yeah.
And I listen for that. And then if you miss it, you have to watch the whole thing again.
know,
It's terrible.
I know, you can't
So,
rewind
no, by the way, guys, I don't really do that. I pay very close attention when I'm doing my CLE.
Do you guys have substance abuse requirements in Tennessee?
Only if you get convicted.
Just to be on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because in California you have to take substance abuse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you have to how to prevent substance abuse for yourself.
Well, that might be useful for me. I'm starting to wonder, actually, after this weekend. Jillian and I were at another event where
Right.
you didn't drink, which is really impressive,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
But there was a lot of drinking at that
Oh,
event.
my gosh.
Everyone was drunk the whole time.
I went to a dinner where it was like I was in high school again, and they're like, "Why aren't you drinking?"
But it was
What's going
sushi,
on?
though, so you didn't eat high school sushi.
Did you
right?
drink in high school?
No.
Okay.
Well,
No,
that's
I
what
didn't
was going on. You
I
were in
didn't
high
start
school
drinking
again.
until I had kids.
Oh.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, anyway, so we didn't come on to talk about drinking
Drinking
and kids,
But we want to talk
yeah.
about some. No, seriously,
Yeah.
because I want to add some real value here. I don't want this to just be.
I appreciate that.
So what would be a couple examples where, attorneys looking to advise clients give advice that maybe they're not helping, where would you come in and advise these people to give better advice?
Right.
It's
Well,
really poorly framed. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And by the way, that was just like, one event that I did. Because most of the time I'm advising actual clients,
Mhm.
And investors on how to do this. Or,
Yeah.
So for an investor, what kind of deal to look for when they're looking for a private money deal. And then issuers or companies, how do they form these companies in a way and make the proper disclosures to potential investors?
Sure.
So the first thing you want to think about is, am I, from an investor's point of view, am I getting all the information that I need to make a sound investment decision? And then from a company's point of view, am I giving the investor all the information they need in order to make a sound investment decision?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's a no, then you really have to reevaluate what it is you're doing and how you're doing it.
So don't hide information. That's the first
Number
rule.
one is don't hide information,
Yeah.
for sure. And then and sometimes there's things that you don't even think about. Like, for example, if you used to be a bankruptcy attorney.
I did.
For example, if you had foreclosures in the last several years, even though that's not related to maybe the current profit
Sure.
you're trying to raise money for, that is what we would call a material disclosure to an investor. You
So
really need to
several
talk about
years is like 1 year or 10 years. What do you think?
The rule of thumb is like 5 years.
5 years,
Some
okay.
jurisdictions will probably tell you 10 years, but it's about 5 years.
Okay.
But
But all kinds. So the disclosures are going to include stuff about the sponsors, right?
Yes.
The people that are actually raising the money
Right.
and issuing the managers of the company
Yeah,
that's
who's in
issuing
charge over
the
there?
shares
Right,
or whatever
right,
it is.
right.
So all that kind of stuff, and
Right.
then about the deal itself
Correct.
as well.
Right.
Is there anything else that they need to disclose? Like,
Yeah, okay. So they need to tell them what the risks are. Like, to me, the risks are probably the most important part.
sure.
What are the risks associated with investing in this deal? Like, can they lose their money? How can they lose their money? What are the 20 different ways they can lose their money?
What if they miss something? They think of everything they can think of, and then
Yeah.
there's something else that happens. What happens then?
There's a great rule called the safe harbor.
Okay.
It's this really, I don't want to say it's a weird rule, but it's this really misunderstood law called the safe harbor provision of the Securities Act, where it's like, we did our best.
Okay.
Sounds great. Yeah.
So what if their best is
if
they
you
just
really did do your best and you weren't
Yeah.
working to disclose something, then you're probably going to be all right.
all right? So I can't say you might lose all your money and just stop there,
No,
right? I have to actually say more than that.
You know there's more than that.
I
right?
assumed as much. Yeah.
Inadequate insurance on a property.
Sure.
Weather catastrophes.
Financing.
The economy might change.
And I'm assuming when you're advising one of your clients, you're kind of giving them, like, these are things that we always look at and
Exactly.
talk about, and you
Yes.
need to think about these things.
Correct. Right.
And that's where you get those really big, thick PPMs, right?
That's right.
The ones that no one actually reads.
What?
You know it's true.
How dare you?
I look.
I worked so hard on writing that. You don't even read it.
Well, I
drown
read.
my sorrows in alcohol.
No, listen. I always read the ones you write because yours are riveting. But not every PPM I've ever seen. I don't read every one I've ever seen.
I like to weave jokes into my PPM.
It's true. That's true.
It's totally appropriate.
Well, you have to keep the reader's attention, and that's a great way of accomplishing
and it's
that.
not like you can sing in a
Wait,
PPM.
hold
so.
on a second. I do not write jokes in my PPMs. I'm totally kidding. That one I want to make sure everybody's clear.
Right, and by the way, Jillian's, we're talking to you, but like you have a website, right? Crowdfundinglawyers.net, is that right?
I have the .com too, but for whatever the .net is just in our vernacular.
Okay, well, so if I go to .com, it will just redirect to .net?
To .net.
Yeah, fantastic. You might be the only attorney or anybody ever that did that.
Yeah.
That's
It's
pretty
a long story. You don't want to hear it.
Fair enough. Well, I might want to hear it, but it's probably beyond the scope of what the
listeners
viewers
wanna hear,
need to
yeah.
know. Yeah. So,
But you also have an interesting perspective in this and that. Not only are you an attorney, but you've also invested in these types of deals yourself, right?
Oh, yeah, because I found out a long time ago, or maybe not too long ago, but I found out that I'm not the greatest active investor. I'm actually...
let's stop for 1 second, though, okay? So there's a difference between active and passive investors, and I don't know if everyone knows what that is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So an active investor is somebody who is involved in the day-to-day operations of property.
Sure.
Procuring property, managing that property, disposing of that property, and I'm very okay at that.
Very okay at that? So that can be anything from like just buying a single-family house and renting it out, all the way up to raising money and running an apartment complex with other people's other investors.
And I started off my career in the real estate space.
This was this
After the
before or
record.
after the record label?
After record labor, before practicing law. So while I was getting my bar license.
Wow.
Yeah, so record label somewhat ended, and then I really wanted to get into real estate.
Okay.
And I just didn't know that this world of real estate education existed. I just thought you had to work in real estate in order to learn real estate.
That's what I did too. So
Yeah, so I went and found a job at a real estate investment company in San Diego. I asked every company, listen, I gave my resume to all these places, and I said, look, I can do your books for you because I had a degree in finance. I can file for you. I'll answer your phone, whatever. I just want to learn real estate. So this one company actually liked the fact that I had my own record label.
Nice.
That's why they hired me. Yeah, so it served its purpose and hired me, and I ended up moving up to being the controller CFO.
Wow.
And did all the financing. I got the bank loans, worked with the investors, the whole 9 yards. So we did condo conversions.
Okay.
So we would take an entire apartment building, take it down to the studs, remap it, and then sell off the individual units.
Yeah, that was very lucrative for a while, right? Lots of people were doing that kind of stuff.
Yes.
People are doing it again, though, right? So some people see it now too. But
yeah, so it was super lucrative. We did it in San Diego, but we could see the writing on the wall. Fortunately, we saw it early enough to know okay, we got to start getting out. So by 2007, the very beginning of 2007 rolled around. It was literally January 22nd, 2007. I didn't really have a job anymore. There was no more properties. We got rid of them all.
okay.
And
That's when you went back to law school?
no, that's when I went back to law. I had passed the
Oh,
bar.
you were already a lawyer
I was
then.
already a
Yeah,
lawyer.
okay.
So I literally was laid off / quit my job and started driving from San Diego back to Riverside County where I live and dialing for dollars. Hey guys, just started a law firm. Wanted to let you know if you have any corporate needs, let me know. And just did that all the way to Riverside County. By the time I got to Riverside, I had my first client.
Awesome.
And drove back to San Diego and met with my first
So
client.
that principle is very similar to how you can be successful in real estate, though, because it's just about doing it. Right?
Oh, right.
At some level, if you want to actively invest in real estate, you just have to do it.
Right. Right, but I don't want you to. You just have to do it, but I don't want you to fake it till you make it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not suggesting that either.
No. Well, but there's a misconception out there that that's the way you should go out and buy a fake Rolex and get an expensive car.
Covering my wrist. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but there's this misconception that you should spend you'll go into massive amounts of debt to make people think you're something you're not.
Right.
And be deceptive, essentially. And you don't want to start off your real estate career with deception.
Well, especially from your perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about raising money from investors.
Correct.
If you're just like doing that because you like to pretend you're rich and you're buying real estate for
Right.
yourself, it's probably not a problem, right? Because it's your own money and
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want, pretty much, as long as you don't violate other laws.
Exactly. And so, like I said, I was doing like all of these active deals. I was buying my own townhomes, single family flips. I was doing rehabs and the whole
Fun.
thing. Yeah. And I found out I wasn't very good at it. I mean, in the sense that I wasn't very good at negotiating with contractors by myself. You know, like I didn't know how to say that's wrong or I don't want that. I wasn't really good at follow through in terms of following up with the contractors and making sure they were doing the right thing. And I wasn't really good at trying to sell the properties. And the reason was because I didn't really have time.
I was going to
Sure.
say, yeah.
It's time consuming
It's
for
time
sure.
consuming, and I was trying to run a law firm, and I'm trying to, I have 3 kids now, so I just started, a while ago, I started doing passive investments, investing in other people's deals, so I just provide the capital.
Right.
So, and that has been way better.
Well, and you're exposed to probably a lot of passive deals in your career, right? So you get to see the best ones and figure it out. So can you invest in your own clients' deals, or do you have to be careful about that?
I try not to. And what I mean by I try not to, there has been one occasion where I have, and the only reason I did was because
It was a really good deal.
No, it was a really good deal.
Home run.
It was a really good deal. But the real reason is because my aunt, who I love dearly, was looking to get into passive real estate investing.
Sure.
But is a very nervous person, has never done it before. She's turning 70 this year, and I just thought, okay, I found the deal that she was looking for. Like this was the deal she was looking for.
And she needed the confidence that you were also in the deal. Is that what happened?
She didn't ask me to. I said, look, I'm going to put
Yeah.
I'm confident enough in this sponsor that I believe you won't go wrong but I don't want you to feel that by yourself.
Right.
So
you're putting your money where it is. It made her feel more comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's why we don't hire you, actually, so you can invest in
so I
our
can
deals.
invest
Yeah. Actually, I think we might have to hire you. I think at this point we kind of owe it to you.
It's like a double-edged sword.
So as a passive investor in some of these things, what are you looking for in every deal?
I'm really looking for trustworthy in the sponsor above all else. Like it's all about who the sponsor is. Can they answer all my questions? Do they know what they're doing? Have they made the proper disclosures? The return, so secondary to that, completely secondary. Like I have a deal right now, and this is not an endorsement to invest. But
we don't know the deal anyway. So.
Well, yeah,
but yeah,
I'll
fair enough.
explain the deal.
Okay.
Pretty. It's a ground-up construction deal. It's in the town I live in, and the sponsor is an older man who's been developing projects all over where I live for years and years and years.
So he knows the area.
So he has this book of experience, and and I know that it's a good opportunity for people because his care with putting the documents together and putting the deal together was so apparent. And so it's not, I'm talking about this guy who has all this experience. Awesome. You don't necessarily have to have a lot of experience. You have to have a lot of care and a lot of due diligence. And if you have those things, that will transcend return any day.
Well, it's going to work out. I mean, it's more likely to work out. So you're talking about eliminating risk by having the right sponsor.
Right. And the returns will come.
Yeah.
Because returns, you can get a 6% or 8% or 10% or even a 15% IRR anywhere. You really can. Or you can get the promise of that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see
Right?
people promise a lot more than that, but what they promised isn't important. It's what they actually deliver that's important.
Right. So you can see the promise of that almost anywhere, but it's actually who is going to actually deliver it,
Sure.
and what can you get in return. So those are the things that are really important to me.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you, and you do a lot of that, right? That's what you were saying earlier off camera. That's something you do regularly is invest in other people's deals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah, and it's all about the care.
Right. So, and I don't even know if our listeners knew that was something you could even do before, right? Like they probably have seen like some of the big crowdfunding sites and stuff, and you do advise people that do that kind of work as well.
Yeah.
But they probably don't know that there are people like just regular, ordinary people that want to buy a small apartment complex, and they're raising money from friends and family or from other investors in their community.
Right, exactly.
Which is what it sounds like you're talking about, right? The person's a local person, so you have a little bit of connection to them or whatever.
I didn't have any connection to them, actually. They found us. It's funny because I barely have any local clients in my community. Most of our business is word of mouth and referral. I mean, we have a lot of marketing out there, but at the end of the day, most people choose their attorney because somebody recommended them.
That makes sense.
You know, I will say a couple of my bigger clients found us on the internet, which is strange that big, huge clients are looking for attorneys on the internet. But you know, so, yeah, that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that is cool. All right, so I think we have to wrap up here in a second, but we have a couple of special surprises, right? Yeah. The first one is that we got you a gift bag, but we didn't bring it down from our room.
Surprise!
So I will bring it to you later, and you will have the gift bag.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So that's the first surprise. The second surprise is a gift that you've decided to give us.
Yes, and our audience.
And our audience.
I almost forgot about it.
In addition to starting a record label, being an investor, a syndication
She's
attorney.
also a rock star.
Yes. Or at least a big band follower.
Well, in fairness, the first time I ever met Jillian, she gave a talk called Private Money Rockstar, where she talked about how to be a rock star raising private money, it's a really good talk. I've seen it twice now, actually, and both. I think the second one was better. Actually.
Oh, did
so
you
you're
really?
You're improving. That's great.
Awesome.
But this last time I saw you talk, you promised me that you would sing for us.
Yes.
So
because I know your show's based in Chattanooga.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take my mic because Jillian, you don't have a mic, so I'm just gonna you can have a mic there. So you have a mic.
All right, so I know your show's based in Chattanooga, and the first thing that comes to mind for me is Chattanooga Choo Choo, the song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. My world debut.
I'm not joining in, just so you know. I'm really bad at singing.
I'm not going to remember the lyrics. All right. I might get through one verse. All right.
One verse.
Pardon me, boys, at the Chattanooga Choo Choo, track 29. Boy, you can give me a shine.
Good enough.
That was excellent.
That was
way better than I could do, and I know Jeff too.
Yeah, definitely better than we would have done.
I can afford to ride the Chattanooga Choo Choo.
All right, nice work. So, if you get to Chattanooga, there's a lot of choo-choo related stuff there. And
now it's a hotel mostly.
It is a hotel, yes.
I noticed that when I was looking up the lyrics, which I forgot.
Yes. In fairness, I did tell you a week ago you should start learning them, and you tried to learn them this morning. So that's probably the reason. But we really appreciate you coming on.
It's all these bright lights and the pressure of being on screen.
That's right. Is there anything else that you wanna tell our listeners and viewers how they can get a hold of you, how they can find you?
Oh yeah. So if you want to get free education. Oh, sorry, I'm spinning on you.
No, it's fine. I'm not editing that.
He's used to that.
You don't have to. He's perfect. If you want to get free education and videos, I don't have anything for sale. Go to two places: our Facebook page, Crowdfunding Lawyers, and our Facebook page, Private Money Rockstar. We have some
and we'll
display
both of those, and we'll put them on the screen as well.
Yeah. So go check those out. And our websites, if you want to make an appointment with me, crowdfundinglawyers.net. My calendar's right there, where you can make an appointment with any of the 6 attorneys that are in our office.
I thought there was only 5. That's good though. So you're growing.
We're growing.
Yeah.
Like
I saw that
fat woman.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's exactly the image I was going for, but you know what? On that note, we really appreciate you checking out the show. And
this has been entertaining and informative.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say?
No. But
all right. Well, we always, because you're a huge fan of our show, you know this. We always end our show with a toast. So
cheers.
Salute.
Cheers.